Previously on the war that made America. 20 years before he led a revolution, a young George Washington stumbled into a very different kind of war. His orders were to get the French to leave the Pennsylvania woods.
Fire!
But the Indians, the third force in this contest, had motivations of their own. This incident in 1754 triggered a war that spread from these woods to the Caribbean, Africa, Europe, and India. The war's outcome would decide which of two great European empires would dominate North America. And caught in the middle were the Indians.
The French claim all the land on one side of the river, and the English claim everything on the other. Where does the Indian land lie?
As they pursued their own aims, the Indians were drawn deeper into the struggle. In 1755, with the help of a small French force, they defeated the powerful British Army and killed General Edward Braddock. But by 1759, Britain was scoring victories, and the French were struggling to maintain hold on their territory.
The fortress at Louisbourg has fallen. The way to Quebec is now wide open. Now, how shall we hold the West?
This program is made possible by Richard King Mellon Foundation, the Heinz Endowments, Eden Hall Foundation, National Endowment for the Humanities, and the following.
Have you found an opening yet?
You're an imbecile.
Major General James Wolfe, a sickly but highly ambitious officer, is determined to prove himself on the battlefield. For 2 months, he has played a waiting game. His army is camped on the opposite shore, ready to take the city of Quebec. If only he can draw the Marquis de Montcalm into battle. But the Marquis does not want to engage the British.
Alors, let Wolfe amuse himself where he is. If we drive him off, he may go someplace where he can really do us harm.
After 3 months of trying, Wolfe still has not managed to capture the city. If he doesn't attack Quebec before winter sets in, he'll be forced to give up the siege. and the chance for a crucial victory in the French and Indian War. The British are poised to expel the French army from Canada. They now control the St. Lawrence River, cutting off France from North America's interior. They could soon control the continent. But first, they must take the enemy stronghold at Quebec. But Quebec is proving impenetrable, perched on a triangle of land atop steep cliffs, where water surrounds the city on two sides. Wolfe first attacks from the east, only to see nearly 500 of his men killed or wounded at the Battle of Montmorency. Many excellent officers hurt in this foolish business, he writes. Frustrated, Wolfe lashes out.
I have changed my measures and laid waste to the country. Partly to engage the Marquis de Montcalm, and partly in return for many insults offered to our own people upon our own frontiers.
Wolfe orders his redcoats to burn the settlements beyond Quebec. 1,400 houses are torched. But the capital of New France is far from giving up. British forces try to bombard Quebec into submission. The fires that engulf the city produce some of the most horrifying moments of the entire war. But in France, Louis XV considers the struggle for North America just one part of a global war with Britain. Instead of reinforcements, he sends Montcalm encouragement, saying, "His Majesty relies completely on your zeal and your knowledge of what can best be done to save Canada." Wolfe grows desperate. He has fallen victim to fever, and so have his soldiers. By summer's end, a third of his army is unfit to serve. The British have been shelling the city for 6 weeks. And still, Montcalm will not come out to fight.
My antagonist has wisely set himself up in inaccessible entrenchments, so I can't get at him without spilling a torrent of blood, and that perhaps to little purpose.
Wolfe believes he may soon die, and fears his failure to act will bring him disgrace. Finally, in September, his attention is drawn to a path leading up steep cliffs to the plains just west of Quebec. In an audacious nighttime maneuver, he orders 4,500 men to scale the steep cliffs. It takes them less than 5 hours. The element of surprise works. By dawn, the British assemble on the plains of Abraham, just outside the city walls. Wolfe employs a novel formation, spreading his men out in 2 ranks instead of the traditional 3 to cover the half-mile width of the plains. Montcalm knows that the British are the more disciplined soldiers, but the British line seems especially thin. He believes that a column of troops can smash it. It's a classic European battle that will depend on the skill and precision of each side's infantry.